What's going on, guys? It's another Sunday. And like I said, last week, we got a ton of stuff to go through with Mailbox. So this one's going to be a G.I. Joe classified mailbox. And I think we got some great stuff. We did get Retro CoverGirl. So we literally got all three retros: CoverGirl, Flint, Televiper. So the retro version is actually from the cartoon, while the classifieds is more of the the toy line. So when she first appeared in the first series of G.I. Joe, the cartoon, the mass device, she literally matched most of the original 13 or the original 11, where she was all green. A little bit in the toy, she had kind of a brunette strawberry hair. In the cartoon, she was blonde strawberry. So of course it comes with 2 extra hands, the stand, a ponytail version with the cap. These things are pretty damn cool. They're the original rifles from their cartoon series. The handgun, she has a wrench and a sledgehammer. So she will be sitting in the All-Striker with crankcase, because we're not getting a Wolverine, or at least I'm not buying one. We also have Flint. So a lot of people have been complaining about the artwork. It is literally the same artwork as the original. The only complaint would be the face. Of course, Flint comes with the stand, his beret, 4 extra hands, the shotgun, the pistol, and the backpack. Which is pretty awesome. So now my command for people is complete. So one of the my first line for the G.I. Joe classifieds will be the command line, which will be General Hawk in front, Duke, Flint, and then Beachhead. The 4 commanders of G.I. Joe. And then on the other side of the shelf will be Slaughter and the Marauders when the other 2-pack comes out. We also got the Legacy Police, finally. So it comes with, of course, the black and white head, a taser gun, a flare gun. They like this weapon, I don't know why. Cuffs, the baton, handgun, the police hat, the SWAT helmet, the SWAT shield. And then there's supposed to be, I think that's what that is, a poncho. So I really don't know how I want to pose the Legacy characters. I expect them to be in a line. Hopefully. We'll see how that works. I really don't know. They got the coffee cup. Hopefully it fits in one of his hands. So far, that means excuse me. So the military side, we have the pilot halo jumper, Navy scuba diver, a Navy SEAL, the Marine sniper, I think, and the Army infantry. For the civilian part, we have the fire and now the police. There is supposed to be two more. One in 2026, one in 2027. One is going to be a doctor. I really don't know what the fourth should be or will be. I'm thinking Coast Guard to kind of mold them together. That would be interesting. But then again, how will that look? I am hoping that the military side, I'm gonna go full-blown military. Marine's gonna be full camo. Army's gonna be, I guess, full whatever, full pilot, full scuba guy. I know the fire person should be full geared. Cop should be SWAT. Now, depending what comes out next, honestly, I think it's going to be the Doctor. And here's why. Because we have Lifeline coming out. I can see a Doctor field operation, whatever it's going to be, having pieces of Doc and Lifeline. Of course, I don't know. I am interested to see if it's like a doctor's coat or scrubs, or if they're going to do like you wearing scrubs but give you a jacket you can put on. I think that's why it's taking so long, is they don't know what they want to do. Which means probably towards the ending of 2026 or beginning of 2027, we'll probably get a cutter. Because, I mean, Cutter was Coast Guard. It would be a perfect fit. Get Cutter, then get the Coast Guard, like months later. I mean, to me, it makes sense. Something to look forward to for certain people. Personally, I love Cutter. I thought he was great as a character. But let's face it, we're not getting the classified Will. That thing would be huge. It'd be the same size as the Rattler, just bigger. Be bigger than most of the G.I. Joe ground tanks. Jeez. Personally, I can't see myself getting Cutter. I do want a Wild Bill, so I might decide to get Cutter just to have the helicopter guy and the Coast Guard guy. Then again, I would love to get Ace. There's actually a few vehicle drivers I'd love to get. I can't wait to see how Deep Six looks. I hope it's kind of similar to the original, but less bulky. So, you can actually bend and flex. He is actually the last G.I. Joe Ocean guy I want. Shipwreck, Torpedo, Wetsuit, and Deep Six. Jungle Guys, Rakondo, Ambush, Pathfinder. And I think that's it. So I might as well just put Dusty with the Jungle Guys, because there is no G.I. Joe desert guy besides Dusty. Snow Job. So, I love Snow Job, especially as a kid. It's my first G.I. Joe Snow character. The only other character that they really portrayed in the cartoon was Iceberg, and I was not a fan of Iceberg. They did have other snow characters, but it literally was a hit and a miss. They didn't have them in too many. I think each of the snow characters was only in one episode. Well, Snow Job was in several episodes, so was Iceberg. Snow Job was in the G.I. Joe movie. I think Iceberg was in the G.I. Joe movie. Only time will tell. I would love to get another G.I. Joe Snow Trooper. Only if they look good. And I think that's what it's gonna be, is how well they look. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Iceberg, the character. But if they make him look pretty cool, thankfully I'm not getting the Snowcat. It looked great, but if you notice, I barely have any G.I. Joe vehicles. So there is only a few vehicles I want left. For Cobra, the ASP, the ASP. Anything else to kind of fit there? Possibly a stun. I have this feeling that they're gonna make the Snow Wolf. But again, it's a snowmobile. So unless it's snowing, there is no use to get it. For G.I. Joe, all I have right now is the Vamp. However, now we have the Off-Striker. Yes, and the box is pretty damn big. Crankcase. Surprise, surprise, you can see the bridge layer back there. And both of these are Off-Strikers. Yes, a lot of people have problems with their Off-Striker. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have some problems with the Off-Striker. But when they showed this, I never had the original toy. And I thought this was pretty damn cool that they kind of took the toy and took a Doom Buggy in the real world and kind of mixed and matched. So we're going to open up the Vamp and this one after another when we start opening up the G.I. Joe characters themselves. The two vehicles will be the first things we open up for G.I. Joe. And like I said, with the Off-Striker, I want CoverGirl riding shotgun. It only makes sense. Especially since we're not going to have the Wolverine. So the other vehicle I would love to get, but it's going to have to be a HasLab which will probably be 2027's HasLab, and that's the G.I. Joe Mauler. I never had the Mauler. I had the Mobat. But I think the Mauler is a lot better of a choice. The Mobat, you could only fit one character in it. The Mauler, you could fit the two in front and the one in the turret. Plus the Mauler was bigger. And it really seemed more like a tank these days. Well, the Mobat was a tank from World War II. And then, of course, the Thunder Machine and any Dreadnought vehicle that they make. Hopefully the Dreadnought Cycle and possibly the Ground Assault. We'll see how that goes. So besides this, we have one more thing to go over. Couple last month, I ordered something off of eBay. Fortunately, it got stolen. But like I said, one of my friends came true. Finally got short fuse and stealer. This thing is phenomenal. So part of me honestly didn't want short fuse. I'm a huge Steeler fan, especially after he was left in the him clutch and Grunt was left in the other timeline in the cartoon. But, you know, I kind of want to get a version of the original G.I. Joes. So I'm not getting the missile launcher, MMS, because I have Hawk as the general. I don't think I need two Hawks. I have a version of Scarlet. I have a version of Snake Eyes, not the originals. Well, for Snake Eyes, not the original. I have Stalker, not the retro original, but I like the classified version of Stalker. I have retro version of Rock and Roll. We have Clutch. We have Breaker. We have Grunt. Short Fuse and Steeler. We have Zap on pre-order because I needed Zap. We literally have everybody except for the two that's missing. Grand Slam, Flash. So, for the life of me, I always thought Grand Slam came with the Halo jumper or the jetpack. But it turns out that he came with the HAL. We already have Starduster. We already have not the Iron Grenadiers, the Steel Brigade with the jetpacks. I could see Grand Slam coming with the base and the jetpack. I don't think he's going to come with the HAL, but you never know. I honestly believe they might do a 2-pack with Grand Slam and Flash. That would be pretty damn interesting. I also would love to see a retro shooter. We have a Night Force shooter. I want to see what she'd look like in the green clothes. In the green color, what type of sniper she would look. If she would have the old school helmet, the old school rifles. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we have all 11 of the original G.I. Joe characters. Of course, we do have the original retro Cobra Trooper. So that's 12. All we need now is the retro Cobra Officer, which I have this feeling that we might get that this year or early next year. I'm really excited to see what else characters they bring to the line, especially with them creating new characters. Part of me does want them to make a Quinn. Then again, it's gonna be another heavy artillery guy, and I wouldn't know where to put him, so I don't know if I'd actually pick him up. Part of me would love to get the October Guard, but make them like the Legacy. I mean, we already completed the 4 military guys. Got 2 more for the 4 civilian guys. Imagine them making a Legacy version of each of the October Guard. That would be insane. Probably 8 of them. So maybe 2 a year. Another 4 years after 2027. You never know who they're going to bring in for G.I. Joe, for Cobra, for the Dreadnoks. Seriously, collecting classifieds, you have to be a little bit crazy. But, you know, Hasbro is killing it. I love the classified action figures. As you saw, we started opening up the Star Wars Black Series. And the Black Series really doesn't compare to the Classified series. But then again, if you look at the original toys, Star Wars really couldn't compete with G.I. Joe. And I'm not talking about the characters, because let's face it, Star Wars had some insane characters. I'm talking about the build for the toys. Like I said, with the Star Wars characters, there's only shoulder joints which you can go up and down, and the thigh joints which can make the feet go up and down, and that's it. The Black Series is basically the original toys done with more detail and more flexibility. Which I didn't know until I opened up the toys. As a collector, that is a brilliant idea. It feels kind of nostalgic, but bringing it into the new light, like Classifieds. The characters feel very nostalgic as the toys. The way they're made, the way they bend. But the change in the size, the change in detail, the number of accessories that comes with the toys, greatly improved. But then again, you gotta remember back then, Star Wars was like $4. G.I. Joe was $4 or $5. All of these toy lines have been doing really well. Hasbro with Star Wars, with G.I. Joe. I just took a look at the My First Super 7 Ultimates figure with Mumbo Jumbo. Oh my god. So I never had the villains for Silverhawks. I had all of the original Silverhawks, never had the toys, the Mirage and the Sprinter Hawk. What a crazy world now that I'm actually buying the villains over the actual good guys. Then again, there's kind of a reason for it, and that's because the villains look really cool. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had all 4 turtles. Didn't have April O'Neil, didn't have Splinter, didn't have any other character, just the 4 turtles. Now I have several of the villains. Thundercats. I think I only had 3 Thundercats. Lionel, Panthro, and Tigra. I may have had Chitara, but I don't remember playing with her that much. I remember I had Snowman from Hook Mountain. Because I was hoping that they would make Snow Meow. Never did. But now I'm collecting all the villains. Kid in me was always the heroes. The adult in me is always the villains now. Well, anyway, guys, not a bad haul. Like I said, I do have one more G.I. Joe mailbox. I have a kind of a Super 7 mailbox. Now I have a Star Wars mailbox. But next week, the week before Christmas, I got something very special for you guys. We're taking it back, doing a nostalgia, a retro mailbox. I have 5 retro villains. Out of those 5, I think I only had one as a kid. Yeah, I only had one. It is going to be pretty insane. Unfortunately, they're all used. So that all of them didn't have a box. For the most part, they have a lot of their stuff. I think 3 of them is complete. Yeah, it's good. I gotta get it done. And it's definitely going to be pretty entertaining. If you like old school toys, if you like old school cartoons, next week's going to be for you. All of them are villains, though. This week we're gonna open up Orko and Zarak from the NECA Dungeons and Dragons. Another 2 Star Wars Black Series figure. Probably Chrysanthemum and Boba Fett. We have that retro thing next Sunday. The 2 NECA Dungeons and Dragons. After that, more Star Wars Black. Probably, hopefully, the should be the day after, or Sunday, the day after Christmas. I'm not sure. Maybe we're going on a toy hunt. If not, another G.I. Joe Classifieds, hopefully. Like I said, we have a lot of things. It's going to be crazy. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Be safe. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Take care of yourselves. Try and spend some time with family, especially with Christmas around the corner. So I will be dropping a Lego video on Christmas Day. And basically it's going to be me trying to put together the Lego Game Boy system. If you guys want to check it out. I'm hoping to have something after that. We'll see. There is quite a few more things I need to order online. There is quite a few things I need to pick up. I was surprised and found out I need to pick up one more thing for my women female shelf, hopefully boxed, and that is the Once Upon a Time Evil Queen. I didn't know they made characters for that. You know, the more I look into collecting crap, the more crap I find that they make stuff for. It's insane. Kind of running out of room. Like I said, it's our life. See you guys next time. Aloha.